Good morning and welcome to Coffee Talk with Daisy. It is Saturday, July 28th, and I hope you guys are having a great Saturday. We're going to start with a poem, and then I'm going to explain why this poem is important. It's called Liability. It is by Madison Kuhn. I feel so heavy because I feel that I am so much, and I fear letting anyone know that I'm not a feather because boys like simplicity, and I'm anything but that. Boys don't settle down with manic pixie dream girls. They kiss their necks for a while until they find someone a little more boring and a lot less burdensome. I got this book yesterday. It's part of my poetry collection. I have some great poetry that I could recommend to some people, and I've already been sending some out to some. But that poem resonated with me because it played on a lot of the thoughts I've been having lately. And I've had these thoughts and I've shared them with some of my friends, and I think today I'm going to share them with you. Okay? So, women as a whole are weird little creatures. And I can say that because I am one. And you're like, oh my God, I can't believe she said that. But we are. We're weird little creatures. We have wants, we have needs, and sometimes it's hard to relay those out in ways that make people understand. So let me explain. Um, when you're in a relationship, you want to feel like you're special, that you're important. You want to be that first text in the morning and that last text at night if you guys aren't living together. You want to be the person that they think about first when something happens, like this big great thing at work or when you're out in public and you see something. You want to be that first person that they talk to and they like, oh my God, I have to tell her this right away. You want to be that important for them. You really do. Pardon the people walking behind me. It is a public sim, so people are going to wander in and out. I can't help it. Anyway, you want to be part of a world where you are so important to them that all they think about is making sure that they tell you everything going on. But it's beyond that. You know, when people talk about what they want in a relationship, I can tell you sex is really low on that totem pole. You want attention and intimacy, but that doesn't require sex. And when I say that, I mean you want time with them. Quality time is better than quantity time. Let me explain this. Quality time is when you're with that person and you get direct 100% attention of that person. You get the people who focus in on you and that's it. They're not doing anything else. It's about you in that moment. Be it you're cuddling, you're kissing, whatever. Quantity time is when someone comes on and spends hours and hours with you, but the entire time that they're with you, they are not with you. There is a big difference. And that's important. You have to know the difference between quality and quantity. Also, when you're looking at this, you have to think about how that time is spent. Do you do little things when you're with each other? Do you take each other dancing? Do you cuddle? Or are you just standing somewhere having random conversations that really don't pertain to anything and ultimately one of you poofs out or one of you is slightly distracted because being distracted is kind of a downer. You don't want to be standing there with someone hoping that they're going to reach over and grab your hand or kiss you and all they're doing is worrying about what this other person's doing or what this other place is doing or just not focusing in on you. It's it's hard when you have these thoughts in your head about how you want to be someone's one and only their everything when everything else is already their everything. And I've been through that. I have. I mean, and I was in a relationship where I thought everything was great, and it come to find out that most of the time I was not the center of attention. I wasn't even getting 25% of his attention. That's where cheating comes in, but that's a whole other can of worms for a whole other day. Women want to feel desired, but that's not telling you, "Oh, hey, I want you." It's beyond that. We want to feel desired. We want to know that you desire us, and it's the little things that you did that show us that. Like, and I know this is hard in SL because you can't do random emotions. You can't just reach out and grab someone's hand, but you can emote it. Because for a lot of women, emoting is a big thing because it lets us know that you're thinking about it. You know, you type in there, so-and-so reaches for and grabs their girlfriend's hand, or leans over and gives them a kiss. It's the small stolen moments that are important too. It's not just the big things like, oh, let's go cuddle and we'll sit here and we'll talk and get us into the right pose. Getting into the right pose is never going to be just enough for that. I can promise you that. Okay? But it can be a start in the right direction for so much more. Okay? We want to have real conversations with you. We want to talk about the things that we like. Like me, it's books and video games and all kinds of geeky things. I got entirely way too excited about the fact that they were making a movie of Good Omens the other day, and I giggled like a schoolgirl. But I was comfortable doing that. So it's about being comfortable with each other. And women want to know that at the end of the day, we're the one you're thinking about, not what other things you need to do. And yes, I understand that real life happens and things, and there are important steps and stuff you have to do, like work and stuff. But we still want to be part of your thought process. Don't just randomly decide to start doing stuff, especially when you're in a relationship. Don't randomly decide to start doing stuff without talking to your partner first. You know, it's going to affect them, especially if it affects the time they spend with you. If you already don't get much time, you've got to make sure you take that into account when you're making decisions. Don't make promises you can't keep. Don't tell someone, oh, we're going to do this, knowing full well that you're probably not, because you're either going to be too tired or you're going to come up with some other excuse not to do it because you just don't want to. If you don't want to do something, be honest with us and tell us. If spending time with us makes your skin crawl, let us know. We'll leave. You don't have to spend time with us anymore. We'll just go find someone else who will. Because that's something you have to remember. You know, when you're neglecting your girlfriend, your wife, your significant other, boyfriend, whatever they are, someone else is out there wanting to spend time with them. Okay? When you are not telling her how beautiful she is, someone else out there is telling her that, or they're at least thinking it and wanting to tell her. When you're not kissing her, someone else out there is wanting to. There's always going to be someone who wants to take that role from you. And if you don't want to lose that role, you need to make sure that you are taking care of your position. Relationships are not easy. They're not going to be easy. And you need to make sure that you can actually put the time and effort in to give that person everything that they need. And if you can't, then maybe it's time to move on. Because it's really hard to get something back once it's gone. There's a quote I found. It says, if someone won't lift a finger to see you and spend time with you, it's time for you to lift 5 fingers and wave goodbye. And I think that's important to remember. If you don't want to take the time to spend that with someone, they're going to leave and try to find it elsewhere. And it's not going to be with you. So take your relationships seriously. Make sure that you're telling the girls not what they want to hear, but what you want them to hear. Or the men, or whatever you're doing. I mean, it's hard to explain this, and I hate doing this. I hate rambling and just randomly going off on tangents with you guys, and I'm sorry, but we know the difference between if you want to spend time with us and if you don't. And if you tell us that you want to spend time with us and then you make an excuse to not be there, and then we come back later and find out that you were there the whole time, it's going to hurt us. You know, you tell us, I can't be on tonight. I have to do this, this, and this. So we go and make plans elsewhere. Then we come back later and find out that you'd been on the entire time. We're going to know that it was because you didn't want to spend time with us, that you wanted to spend time with someone else. Don't treat us like we're stupid. Always remember that we find out everything. It's important. And here's your last quote for the day. When you really matter to someone, that person will always make time for you. No excuses, no lies, and no broken promises. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about your relationships with people.